Thanks, Caleb. And thanks everyone for joining tonight. We have a few very exciting features that we're excited to preview for you and highlight some of what is new on PocketSuite over the last few months. So, agenda for today, we'll go over each of the three main features that have been released this quarter, and we'll also give you a little bit of a sneak preview into an upcoming feature that will be released in a short time. So with that, I want to start with Messenger. So many of you have probably already seen that Messenger got a pretty major facelift in the last couple of weeks. This is something that we believe is um, a major improvement both in how it looks, but more importantly, how it functioned. So we've redesigned Inbox and the chat thread as well as we've added the ability to send video and voice messages to your clients. We've also made it a little bit easier to actually see what's going on in your inbox with filters. And for those with a team, we've created a new way to view and manage your business inbox. With that, I want to switch over quickly to a brief demo of this new functionality. All right. So coming into our inbox here, from kind of from the get-go, it's pretty obvious that there's been a bit of a facelift. Um, but like I mentioned earlier, more important to me and to all of us at PocketSuite than making it look good, we also want to add meaningful improvements. So I think the biggest one and one that a lot of pros have been asking for a while is the ability to send videos to your clients. To do so from the To do so from desktop, you just select the camera and select media, and you can upload directly from your files. And to do so from mobile, you just upload, hit the camera button, and you can upload from your photo gallery directly. There is a limit on the length of videos. It's 4 minutes. That's the same for voice messaging. Before you send it, you can click on it and preview it to see what you're actually about to send to your clients. Make sure it's the right video. You can then, if you want to get rid of it, hit the little trash can icon. That'll prevent it from sending. And then you hit send. Once you hit send, if your clients do not have the PocketSuite client app downloaded, they'll receive a link. The link should show up in your phone with a preview of the video, so it's obvious that it's a video link. And they can click on it. From there, they can watch it directly in their browser. They can download it to their either desktop um, or their camera roll. Additionally, we now have the ability to send multiple photos at once. So you can send a combination of up to 5 photos and videos all at once directly without having to send them as individual messages. As you can see, they all just show up nicely in your thread there. One thing to call out here is a couple of things have moved a little bit, but I actually think it makes navigating the message thread a little bit easier. So all of our transactions have moved under this $sign. So anything you want to do that's a transaction with your clients, you can do directly from the $sign here. Additionally, there is PocketSuite link and saved messages have moved over under the plus sign. We also have the ability to send a voice message. It's a little bit unhappy with me because I'm also using Zoom right now, but you can see now I am recording this voice message and it records here. There is a little bit, we're using a test environment right now, so there's some latency on it, but you can record a voice message and then send it to your clients. In the same manner, they'll receive a link to listen to that voice memo. There is additionally a 4 minute limit on voice messages. Your clients can also send you multimedia. They have been able to send you photos. Now they can send you videos and voice memos as well. You will receive them in line here. There may be carrier restrictions on the size they can send. So if they're trying to send you large videos, as long as they're under 4 minutes, you can have them download the client app. Additionally, if they do that, the resolution will be better. PocketSuite to PocketSuite is better resolution, regardless of the direction we're sending it in. I also want to briefly just highlight a couple of new features within the inbox itself. So the first is the ability to pin messages within your inbox. So if I come down here to Amber, and I'm not sure, there's been some Wi-Fi issues where I am in Colorado today. We got a very late season snowstorm, so um, there's just some issues happening here. So we can see this thread with Amber. We can pin it. It shows up at the top. You can pin up to 3 messages or 3 message threads in your inbox, and they'll live at the top until you unpin them. When you unpin them, they go back to their chronological place in your inbox. Additionally, previously you could only delete a message thread. Now you can actually archive that thread. So when we hit archive, that thread disappears from your main inbox view. But if we come into our new inbox switcher, which is selected by just selecting the little caret at the top left of your inbox, scroll down to archived, we'll see that thread with Amber is still preserved here, but out of your main inbox. If you decide, I actually want to start chatting with Amber again, we can restore that thread, and it will return to your main inbox view. So we can see right back here, there's Amber. Additionally, we've added some filters. I think this is one of the new kind of functionalities that should hopefully make your use of our inbox much more, much easier to navigate. So the biggest two I think to call out here are unknown clients and known clients. So unknown clients will filter for any number that has not been added to your client list. So this is how you can both see, who's been sending me messages, who's called me that I don't have in my client list. And conversely, by selecting known clients, we can get rid of all of those numbers that aren't saved. So if you want to kind of eliminate some noise, especially if you deal with a lot of inbound and you're just looking for a specific client and don't want to deal with all those unsaved numbers, known clients is kind of your best friend there. You can also filter for group messages. You can filter for unread threads. And if you're in a team account and use assignment to individual team members, you can filter for only your assigned clients. Now for kind of the team improvements to our inbox. We've added a couple of new views here. So for many businesses that have teams, they want to, one, just make sure that communication doesn't get lost. And to do so, you can use the business inbox. The business inbox actually allows you to see every thread that exists within your business. So you can tell whose thread it is by the smaller icon in the bottom right of the thread. So we can see here, and if we hover over it, it's Enrique Rodriguez, who's one of my team members in this account. And I'm John Smith in this account. So if we go here, we can see that this is my thread. And this is actually the same thread, one with me, one with Enrique. The biggest difference here is if I'm in the thread from Enrique's point of view, there's no compose box. If I come back into my point of view, the compose box is here. One thing we wanted to preserve is that we don't want people to have the ability to send a message as someone else. But this is a nice way to see kind of everything that's going on in your business so you can make sure that the little things don't get lost. Additionally, you've always been able to see your team member inboxes, but we've made it a little bit easier to find. So if you just want to look at one individual team member, you can come into the business inbox and you can see all of their individual threads. One thing to note here is that as you are selecting different team members, you'll notice that the state of these messages doesn't change. As a super admin, you can't go into someone else's inbox and mark something as read or change the read state. You also can't delete someone else's message thread. And then at any time, you can always come back to your own inbox and in any thread within the business inbox, as long as you own it or are a member of a group chat, you can always send a message directly from this business inbox. So those are kind of the main updates for our messenger feature. I tried to already highlight some of these FAQs, but a couple points here just to reiterate. High level, your clients don't need to download anything to receive video or voice from you, and vice versa. They can send it back to you, and PocketSuite will process it. The one caveat, like I mentioned earlier, is that SMS is just lower quality for larger multimedia, and carriers may have restrictions on size that are imposed outside of PocketSuite. If you start running into that, especially with certain clients, and it's important to you to be able to use video with them, we encourage you to have them download the client app, and then you kind of work around that carrier limitation. The second feature I want to highlight for you quickly and go over in a quick demo is called booking cards. And this is essentially a written record of your bookings. So if you have bookings for services, if you have reservations, if you have classes, all of those can be converted into a booking card. Additionally, for classes, we now have the ability to print a class roster. So this is a really handy way to make sure that um, if you want to leave your phone aside and want to have a written record of what's going on in your class, you can have that. And we want to make it super easy to find and use in PocketSuite. So I'm actually just going to switch which account I'm in quickly. And if anyone in this webinar happens to be in the pet industry, um, you will see this specific feature called run cards. It's the exact same feature, it's just a different name based on your industry. If you're in a non-pet industry, then it will be shown as booking cards. So to turn this on, we're going to navigate to settings and then features, and we will scroll down until we find looking for run cards. That's the issue. Until we find booking cards. So we can see in this account it's already on, but you would just enable it here, and then it's now technically set up to use. What can we actually add to a booking card? So if you use reservations and resources, you can add resources to a card. If you use smart tasks and smart projects, you can add those to a card. You can also add manual tasks to a card. Probably the most commonly used uh, item to put on a run card is client fields. So any client field can be added to a run card. So if we come down here to mobile number, we'll see this booking card printing right here, this show on booking card printing. So any client field you want shown on your booking cards, you just select show on booking card printing and hit save. It will show up there, so long as it's filled out. The order that the client fields appear here is the same order they'll appear on your booking cards. Obviously, if there are client fields in here that aren't set to show on your booking card, then those will be ignored for the order. But let's say, for instance, that first and last name, birthday, and mobile number are all set to show on booking card. The order they are here will be the same order they are when you actually go to print. Let's go find a booking real quick. So we can see on this booking that we have notes, we have tasks, and then we also have those client fields that I was looking at a second ago. Any note you want to add, if it's a note from the actual booking records, like when you click on this service and you're looking at this booking, um, they will default to show on booking card. So you add a note here, hit save. I've also added some tasks to this booking, so I can know these are things I have to do before and after the booking with this client. We go to more options up at the top, we hit print booking card. And then we can see here that it generates. So this information at the top will always be there, who you are, what the service is, when the service is. We just added this phone field here. So the phone will show up on here. If we added more fields, they would also show up. And then these tasks, we can see they show up in kind of a little grid pattern. And I actually have a task for after the booking ended, and we can see that it shows up on a different day than these two since they're grayed out. There's also two notes here, and that's kind of the last thing I want to show on here is that Um, Notes on a client record itself will default to show and booking card off. There may be notes that you want to keep internal and you wouldn't want just lying around on a piece of paper that your client could see. If that's the case, this will be defaulted off. If you do want to show it on a booking card, you just turn it on, hit save, and it shows up on there. At any point, if you make a change, you can always go back to that booking and reprint the booking card. Each time you reprint it, it will be live as it was when you actually hit print. Um, if we come in here to classes as well, and we go to this class that I have, and I go to print roster, we can see that there's now a nice printed roster that you can print out and hang up. If there were resources assigned, they would show up here. Otherwise, it just has kind of the key information for that class, who it is, how to get in touch with them if need be. One more thing to call out here is back in settings under data export, we have bulk printing. This allows you to actually print multiple booking cards at once. So you can select a date, you can only select up to 1 day ahead. And then the booking type, so reservations, booking, or class roster. You can only select one of these at a time. If you are using reservations, you also will have to filter based on the either checking in, so if they're checking in on May 6th, active if they're active on May 6th, checking out if they're checking out on May 6th. Um, as you can see in this specific account, there are no reservations. But if we go to bookings, it will give you a quick preview of how many are actually matching. We can also filter by your team member, by a specific service, and by a specific resource. Once we have our selection ready, we go to print. It'll queue up right here the in the bulk printing dashboard. Once it's ready, you'll get a message in PocketSuite. For small print jobs, they're generally very quick. And then you just hit print, and we can see that we have all of our bookings for today printed out right here. Most of these don't have tasks, so they're not printing out with the tasks. Um, a couple of commonly raised questions. Do clients see the booking cards? The short answer is no. The only way a client would see your booking card is if you showed it to them once it was printed out. But within the PocketSuite app, there's nowhere for them to see this information. It's strictly for internal use for you and your team. Your staff members will be able to print booking cards. They will not be able to adjust what is on them, except for, adding notes, but they can't adjust the client fields that show up. If a booking card changes after you already printed it, like I mentioned earlier, you can either do a new bulk print job or go to that specific record and reprint the booking card, and it will update with the most recent iteration of that card. And then for adding custom notes and fields, I just went over that, but the toggle is just show on booking card, and that will get you there. And once again, just want to reiterate that if you're seeing resource cards, that's the same feature. It's just named something slightly different depending on industry. And with that, I will turn it back over to Caleb to take you through the new resource calendar.
Apologies for that. Thank you, Liam. Let me go ahead and share my screen in just a moment. So the resource calendar is a new way of being able to view all of your resources to better match what your facility might look like. If you are using resources, and a resource is can be uh, anything from a reformer to a massage bed, sort of anything that is not a team member that you need to have to uh, fulfill a booking that might be space constrained. This is a feature that's available on our facility plan, um, and we would recommend checking that out uh, if you have not already or are not already using resources.